Hello and welcome to today's webcast presentation where we have Gapwaves who will be presenting the Q2 report for 2023. With us presenting we have the CEO Jonas Ehiner and CTO for Gapwaves and CEO for Sensrad Markus Hasselblad. With that, I'll hand over the word to you guys. Please go ahead with your presentation.
Thank you very much. And thank you everyone who has joined this broadcast about Gapwaves and our Q2 report. And the purpose here is really to highlight some special developments during the quarter, but also to highlight some new developments in the company, in addition to what you can find in the report, of course. We are also going to address some questions that have been submitted by you and investors to us ahead of this event, and we'll address that during the presentation. And Markus will also present Sensrad, which is an important step for Gapwaves. We'll get back to that later in the presentation. So I'll start presenting Gapwaves and some highlights from the Q2 report for you. So for those of you that are new to Gapwaves, just a brief, quick background on the company. Gapwaves was formed in 2011 based upon research at Chalmers Technical University in Gothenburg. And that research was led by Professor Per-Simon Kildal, who also founded and started the company. We went public on the Nasdaq First North Stock Exchange market in 2016. And since the inception of the company, actually prior to the inception of the company, developing strong patents and strong IP has been a very big focus of Gapwaves, and it still is. And we have a very good number of patents and a strong patent portfolio. Currently, Gapwaves is around 40 employees. We're a growing company. I'll get back to that in the presentation. And we're headquartered here in Gothenburg. We have a good number of ongoing customer projects also. I'll describe that a bit more during the presentation. Our antenna technology, our patented antenna technology, and our way of creating innovative waveguide antennas is especially well suited for high volume manufacturing because of efficient and more effective assembly methods, but also the utilization of cost-effective materials in those antennas, which makes it a very effective solution for the automotive industry where high volumes and high quality manufacturing is very important. As you may know, we're on our way to becoming a global standard for the automotive industry. We have several major leading tier 1 producers as customers today. In 2019, we went into an agreement with Ehiner for licensing our technology. In 2021, Hella also licensed our technology, but also contracted Gapwaves for developing their antennas, and not only for one radar sensor generation, but also for, right now we're working with several new radar sensors for Hella. And last year, we announced a partnership, a very important contract and partnership with Bosch, aiming at a very high performance antenna for intended for use in automated vehicles. And during the quarter, we also made an investment in Sensrad, and that's the first step for Gapwaves in a strategic journey where we move beyond just providing antennas as components to the automotive industry. And we want to emphasize this by having Markus here today presenting Sensrad. We'll do that in a later part of the presentation. Now I'll switch over to the Q2 and some of the findings in the Q2 report, but also some of the underlying developments. So in summary, during the quarter, we see strong interest and growing interest from the automotive industry. It's quite a positive momentum for us. And as you probably already know, or may already know, we're on our way to establish another leading tier 1 as a customer. That tier 1 has gone through several development projects with us. we're convinced that this will be a strong partnership for the future. You may also know that Hella has expanded its collaboration with Gapwaves, and we're now working not only on one radar sensor generation, or rather the antenna for one radar sensor generation, but also the one following that. So we're very excited about this development and this partnership with Hella. We've also seen during the quarter and prior to the quarter a certain, let's call it, slowdown in the tech segment, meaning the customer segment outside of the automotive industry. And some of these projects have been delayed and have shifted in timeline or scope. And we think that this may continue throughout the year as things look right now. We're still in contact, and we have a good relationship with these companies, and there's still a need for antennas, but the priorities have shifted, and primarily the timelines. And as I mentioned, we also made a strategic investment in Sensrad, aiming at a different part of the market, which we'll get back to later.
Actually, here we have a few questions connected to the topics you raised, Jonas, and one is on the slowdown in the tech segment.
Yes.
And connection to prior discussions about Under and other companies. Would you like to comment anything around that?
Yeah, Under and other projects that we have, they are, as we understand it, impacted by this. And we have a close communication with Under and others. And it seems like their customer base have shifted also. And ultimately, we think it's due to the financial and economical situation where interest levels are high, and it creates a problem and a challenge for these companies in terms of financing and financing their go-to market plans, and simply causing delays in the market. And this is the feedback we get from these customers and these partners.
And continue on the topic, do you see that it spills over to the automotive segment, or how do you view on the traction and pace in the automotive domain?
Right now, we don't see that. And actually, we don't think it will spill over, to use those words. We see that the automotive industry, for us, is increasing. The interest is increasing, and the momentum is increasing. We get more and more requests for new projects and new antenna designs, which eventually will lead to production and high volumes. And it seems like the automotive industry is pacing differently than the tech segment and the tech industry. And I think the tech industry also they need to refine and revise their go-to-market and business models.
And the final question on this area is Ehiner. Would you mind commenting? It's a recurring question, I guess.
Yeah, as you know, we've received that question several times before. But finally, there is some clarity around Ehiner. Namely, it will now be part of Magna, and I think they've been in limbo situation almost for 2 years. So I think it's been difficult for Ehiner to win larger contracts with car manufacturers. And now that has been cleared out, the indications we have is that now Ehiner is confident that it will be able to move forward. As you may know already, they've stated to us that all their waveguide antennas are based on Gapwave technology. So we're confident about the future when it comes to Ehiner. And as soon as we have more tangible information, we will, of course, communicate that. Then I'll continue in the presentation. So all in all, Gapwaves is in a scale-up mode. So we need to capture the interest and take care of the interest from the automotive industry and the number of projects that we get approached about. And we also have current contracts and agreements and commitments to our automotive industry customers, which we have to deliver on. That means that we need to add capacity, we need to add competence to become a supplier and not just a technology partner or a licensing partner to the automotive industry. So we're right now in investment mode in terms of investing in the organization and building our capacity in pretty much all areas. That means that we're increasing the number of employees, we're adding new expertise to the company, and we think this will have to continue to be able to qualify as a supplier within the automotive industry. And this is really important for us, so we don't end up just being a licensing partner or technology provider to the customers. Moving over to the financials of second quarter, we have a high level of activity. So in terms of our projects, the business has been good during the quarter. However, since it's mostly project revenues during the quarter and not sales of production equipment or license revenue, the sales are lower than last year's second quarter. We ended up at 8.9 million in sales. Last year it was 16.4, but that included more than 5 million in production equipment sale to our production partner. On the result level, EBITDA, we ended up at minus 9.5, which is a lot lower than last year's 3.8. Again, depends on sales, but also the investments that we're doing in the organization, which are necessary to build up Gapwaves and scale up to become the supplier for our customers. Of course, we work with certain number of consultants, which we bring in also to quickly be able to add competence and to buffer some of the needs in the projects. And post-COVID and post the pandemic situation, we're now able to travel both for sales and marketing purposes, but also to maintain the relationship and run the projects in a more efficient way. So we have expanded on that area, which essentially and fundamentally is a good thing because it drives our business also looking forward.
So Jonas, before we move on, a few more questions. Waveguide antennas is now becoming kind of a standard in automotive radar. So how do you view on upcoming competition?
Yes, like I mentioned, we have a protected technology for waveguide antennas, or our version of waveguide antennas. There is competition, and the market is growing for automotive radar sensors. So obviously, it's natural that there will be more competition. We think we're in a strong position with current technology, but in addition, we have also evolved our technology and developed new waveguide antenna technologies, new ways to build and construct the antennas, which we are convinced will be the next generation type of technology. And we, of course, have very strong, strong advantages, both in know-how in the company, but also from a patent and IP protection perspective.
Good. And a final question from the audience is connected to other verticals, specifically Satcom and Telecom. Would you mind commenting on activities in those domains?
Yes, with Telecom and 5G or 6G, we're keeping our eyes on that. But since, especially in 5G, the frequency bands that are being utilized are still on a low frequency, which really for any waveguide antenna is not suitable, or waveguide antennas does not really add any strong benefits for lower frequencies. But once the telecom industry and the need in the telecom sector moves towards higher frequency bands above 28 or 30 gigahertz, that's definitely an opportunity for Gapwaves. And I would say it's similar in Satcom. And the Satcom applications are few and relatively small. So there are question marks about the business case there. But of course, we're keeping our eyes on it. We're involved in several research and collaboration projects, which gives us a good insight in what's going on and what the current status is in those market segments. So I move forward with a new path for Gapwaves, and that is a new strategic journey that we're starting with the investment in Sensrad. And just to repeat what we communicated earlier, by end of April, Gapwaves invested 40 million kronor into Sensrad AB, a newly formed company here in Gothenburg, but it's a project in Camcom in Gothenburg that has been running for several years. It already has developed prototypes, etc. And we wanted to accelerate this journey for Sensrad and allowing the company to form and to start its commercial development. Markus here, he's still with Gapwaves and will remain so, but as part of his role in Gapwaves, he took on the assignment as CEO of Sensrad, which will be his main focus going forward, in addition to contributing to Gapwaves. I and our CFO, Robert Berhoff, are part of the board in Sensrad. So I think we have a very close relationship already with Sensrad. But now I would like us to learn more about Sensrad, and I give the presentation over to you.
Thank you,
Markus.
So moving into Sensrad then, I'll start by sharing a little bit what is our business idea and what are we trying to do. And it actually starts we see a huge trend in the society regarding smarter cities, more autonomous applications, safer and more sustainable societies. And what we have detected is that all these kind of services and products and applications that will arise in this future society are in need of sensors. And especially there is a hole or a lack of a really high-performing radar sensor, often called imaging or 4D radar sensor. So Sensrad, we take the challenge to actually develop this product for the market going forward. So that's our main business idea. And as Jonas mentioned, we started a few years back. So this is started as a project inside Camcom and has been going on since roughly 2020. And then the company was formed slightly less than a year ago. And we have our headquarters here in Gothenburg, where we have all the R&D activities. But we are actually also located in Israel and present in Shanghai, in China, with sales and marketing people. Today, we are around 20 employees, also having a few consultants working with the development. And as you know, the owners of the company is, as of today, Gapwaves and Camcom. Before moving into the company, I would like to touch a little bit on the market potential and how we view on the possibilities we have out there. And as I said, we are doing a high-resolution imaging radar, 4D imaging radar. And the market for radars worldwide is huge. You can see here it's ranging up to 6 billion euros, a total addressable market. But when you peel that down and look upon who is going to use these really high-resolution type of applications and what's targetable for Sensrad, we find ourselves to estimate, together with external companies, an obtainable market of roughly 70 million euros. And this is divided into 4 different segments. We have defined them as industry transport. You can see heavy vehicles, off-road vehicles, etc. You can also see an upcoming segment in aerial vehicle, drones, helicopters, and so kind of applications. There is also a huge needs within infrastructure and smart cities, surveillance. And finally, well-known robotaxis, last mile delivery, robotized lawn movers, robotized agriculture vehicles, and so on, also an area for us. There is quite of traction, and there is a growing market, as you can see here, at least estimated by external companies. So what does that mean? Where are we? Well, as Jonas mentioned, we have already developed a few demonstrators that we are putting on the market, and we've been successful in doing that. Around 200 units has been delivered the last 18 months. And that has been done in size of roughly 30 different customers. They are globally from West Coast in US all the way through Europe and all the way to China and Asia. And they are diverse in the different verticals, as I mentioned. So we have traction in all 4 segments at the moment.
Yeah, Markus, could you elaborate a bit on what is the main focus for you right now at Sensrad?
Yeah, exactly. So this is where we are, and we are a startup, but we are now really entering the game, so to say. Yeah, inside Sensrad right now, as I mentioned, we have demonstrators available, but these are not full-fledged to become a product. So we put a really big effort right now in developing our real first off-the-shelf products. And we have good traction, and we intend to deliver one for, as we call it, dynamic applications, which are the moving applications, and one for the static, which is more for the infrastructure and smart cities. These products will be available early next year and be qualified throughout the next year. In addition to that, we also develop our supply capability so we can meet the market demands. So currently we are building a test and calibration chamber that we will, together with a partner, put in a supply and production facility somewhere in Europe, not fully decided yet, to reach volumes of thousands next year, and then additional factor 10 the year after, and so on. And the product we develop, you see to the right here, is based on the Arbor chipset and the Gapwaves technology, which gives us this uniqueness of performance. And for you who are really interested in the technology, this kind of system has more than 2,000 virtual channels, which is really giving it the state-of-the-art performance compared to most other applications out there. And then going forward a little bit on the future outlook, in addition to being in the inside of, inside of Sensrad, we're of course heavily working now, turning our customers from evaluating our prototypes into future contracts. And we are engaged in quite a few RFIs and RFQs together with different companies. And I really hope that we, during this autumn, will win a few of those. And with that in mind, you can see that there will be a good future for Sensrad with maybe 5 or 10 growth year to year in terms of volumes. We also hope a lot and believe a lot in that the technology we have together with Gapwaves, we can make tailored applications for different customers. So this is also a focus for us. And with that, I think I've summarized the Sensrad introduction, yeah?
Yeah. We have actually received some questions related to Sensrad. So how come you're working with Arbor? There are also other chip manufacturers, as we understand.
Yeah, it's a good question, and it actually started a few years back already when the project was initiated. It was a survey done of the different available chip vendors on the market. At that time, Arbor was really early out, and the product was not fully ready, but it was clearly so that they were unique on the market, and they still are unique on the market when it comes to providing the right number, the high number of channels in a radar sensor, which is essential for achieving the performance that we would like to do to differentiate from current radar sensors out there. So Arbor is really an asset for us in that sense. There are competition, but no other are at the same level as Arbor currently.
Good, thank you. And coming from Gapwaves, which we both do, obviously, I'd like you to explain what difference does the Gapwaves antenna technology do in a sensor like Sensrad's radar sensor?
Yeah, there are actually many things, but there are 2 fundamental things that we find really valuable for the radar when it comes to the Gapwaves technology. The first is the fundamental, which is that we can actually have a waveguide antenna. Our radar consists of so many channels at very high frequencies. So having a low loss implementation is really, really important. And this is what we gain from using Gapwaves antenna technology. In addition to that, recently Gapwave had come up with a way to implement waveguide antennas without having the extensive costs for tooling and long lead times for tooling, which is involved in injection molding. So this technology gives us the chance to actually tailor our sensor even for smaller volumes, like maybe 5,000 or 10,000 units to a specific customer, still maintaining waveguide technology, waveguide performance. And to me, that is unique. I know no one else competing with this opportunity. So having the gap waveguide technology gives us high performance and a good flexibility to what customer needs.
And this new technology, that's the evolved technology, Gapwave technology that we mentioned before.
Yeah, exactly. And it will be more presented during the fall here in upcoming conferences and fairs.
Thank you. And again, thank you for joining us. If you have additional questions or comments, just contact us at Gapwaves and we'll respond quickly and as much as sharing as much information as we can. Thank you.